Going to start working with word problems and applications of linear inequalities. Our first example here is we have the school sells tickets at a cost of $4.50 for adults and $3 for children. The school needs to make at least $135 to cover expenses. The first thing I want to point out here is this key phrase of at least. At least simply means that we need to make that as a minimum, which means we're going to have a greater than or equal to symbol, because they can make $135 and be okay, and we can, but if we make more, that's even better. So we have here, first we need to write the inequality. So we're letting X be the number of adult tickets and Y be the number of student tickets or child tickets. So if it's $4.50 per adult, we know that that is $4.50 times X plus $3 times Y is going to be at least, so greater than or equal to $135. There is my inequality. Now, because we have for it in standard form, we want to get it into slope-intercept form, which will make it easier to graph. So I'm going to start by subtracting $4.50 X from each side, giving me 3Y is greater than or equal to negative $4.50 plus 135. So then I can go ahead and divide everything by 3. The number one mistake I saw in the quizzes last week, where you'd say you were going to divide everything by 3 but then not do so. So we get Y, we're not dividing by a negative, so the sign stays. 450 divided into 3 groups is negative 1.5. Oops, I forgot the X in there. Plus, and then 135 divided by 3, I know that is evenly divisible. 3 goes into 13 4 times. With 1 left over, 3 goes into 15 5 times. So now I need to make my graph. And so I'm going to start off with going, every line is 10. Or every other line, sorry. And I only need to go up 50 right now because we need it for purposes of the y-intercept. So we have a y-intercept of 45, and we have a slope of negative 1.5, which means negative 3/2. Now remember that that is not down 3 lines, it is down $3 and forward $2. And I'm going to leave this bottom one as lined up as every one. That'll make my life easier. So we'll go from 45 down to 43.50 and forward 2. And then we'll go down to $42 and forward 2. I don't know why it's being screwy like that. And then we'll go down to $40.50 and forward 2. And you get the picture, so we'll draw our, whoops, I apologize, let's try that again. And I'm going to draw it only one direction because we have the idea that this line, we can't go into the negatives, which is why our graph is drawn as such. Now, if 25 child tickets are sold, how many adult tickets must be sold to cover expenses? In this case, we're going to go back to using our inequality of the 450 X plus 3Y is greater than or equal to 135. We're saying if 25 child tickets are sold, so Y is going to be filled in with 25. So that's saying 450 times x plus 3 times 25, which is 75, is greater than or equal to 135. We'll subtract 75 from both sides, and that gives me 450x on the left, and 5 minus 5 is 0, 13 minus 7 is 6, so we have 60 here. So then we divide by 450 on both sides, giving me x is greater than or equal to. And if you think about this here, I don't have a calculator on front of me, but if we go ahead and do long division, you figure we want to divide by 450, so we're going to put a 45 out here and add a 0. Decimal goes out here. 45 goes into 60 once, that's 45. That is 15 left over, so 45 into 150, you figure twice is 90. An additional one is 135, so that's 3. So 135. And that gives me 15. And you're noticing a trend here. We're going to get x is greater than or equal to 13 1/3 tickets. But unfortunately, we can't buy 1/3 of a ticket. So that would be an instance where we would use our common sense and reasonableness, and we would say at least 14 tickets or adult tickets need to be sold to cover expenses. Your job now is to go ahead and complete these U-try problems. I drew in the ordered pairs for you for the points that you can use to reference. And we've got one word problem, and then bring those questions to class tomorrow.